Am I an asshole for documenting every time my husband chose his mother over me and finally leaving him without saying anything? I never thought my marriage would make me feel this invisible. You poor thing. It shouldn't. When I got married, I knew I would be living with my husband's family. In our culture, that's normal, so I didn't question it much. I tried to adjust and be respectful. I cooked with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law and helped around the house and tried my best to fit in. But over time, things started to feel very one-sided. My mother-in-law constantly criticizes me. It doesn't matter what I do, there's always something wrong with it. If I cook, it's not the way she likes it. If I clean, it's not done properly. Even small things somehow become a problem. Come on! It's one of those things where the mother will assume that nobody is good enough for my boy. Nobody is good enough for my boy. And I gotta make sure they understand that. Like, what are you doing? You're driving away potential people that your son could be happy with the rest of their life just because you are being overbearing. Like, did these parents even think about that? Or is it just like such a normal thing in their family to be this way from generations, you know? At first, I thought maybe I was just being sensitive, so I kept quiet. The hardest part is my husband. Every single time there is a disagreement, he automatically takes his mother's side. Not once has he tried to understand how I feel. Now, see, that's not okay. Not even once. You don't even, attempt to see how they feel. Your mother's not always going to be right, you mama's boy. After a while, I started noticing a pattern, so I began writing things down on my phone. Every time something happened where he chose her over me, I documented it. Not because I wanted to use it against him, but because I felt like I was slowly losing my sense of reality. I needed to know if I was imagining things or if this really was happening this often. Within a few months, the list became very long. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. Like, you're not even going to agree with her on anything? Like, not anything? Why did you even marry her? Like, why did you, why? I don't get why you would bring somebody into the situation and then treat them like less than. You decided to be partners for life. You said vows. You did so much. Who knows how long you were together before this, but as soon as they move in, everything's out the window because my mom is the queen. And we're going to accept that. Like, you got to grow some freaking cojones and stand up to your mom and allow your wife to feel some semblance of normalcy and togetherness and actually feel like they belong, because that's your job, bringing a new person into the house, into your family. You got to make them feel like they belong. Or get the hell out of that situation. Small things like when I wanted to cook something I was told that kind of food isn't allowed in the house. What? Or when I tried to explain how I felt, he said I was overreacting and I should just listen to his mother. Eventually, I realized something painful in this house. I don't feel like a wife. I feel like someone who lives here and is expected to obey. You are not a commodity. You didn't get bought as a tool for this family. You married somebody you love to build a life. This isn't a life. You are not an object. Recently, I looked at the list again, and honestly, it broke my heart. I kept asking myself if this is what the rest of my life will look like. God, I hope not. Thankfully, we know it's not, right, y'all? Thankfully, we know it's not the rest of their life because they left. Part of me just wants to leave quietly and stay with my family a while so I can think clearly. He feels guilty for considering that. So now I'm wondering, am I the asshole for keeping track of walking away because I feel like my husband will always choose his mother over me? No. You are not the a-hole. You are not even close to it. You are just simply keeping track. You're not even using it as ammo. You're not trying to go to him and be like, look at all these things. You better do what I say. I have proof. No, you are actually actively trying to keep track for your own sanity. You're doing your best to figure out, is it worth it? I mean, you should know it's not. There's not going to be a time where they're going to accept you. You've tried your hardest. You've done what you can, and they're treating you less than. And if that's how this mother treats their family, it would be even worse. Because, if you're the only one getting treated this way, that would feel incredibly terrible. If you're one of the people being treated this way in the household, then maybe you can kind of help get everybody out of that situation. But it doesn't sound like that's the case. It sounds like everybody's against you and you're just expected to listen, to do what they say. That is not okay. And you deserve better. I really hope you end up just getting the heck out of here. He doesn't even deserve an explanation because it's not like he's going to listen anyway. You're going to try and give him an explanation and his mom's going to come in and be like, you're not leaving. She's not going to leave you. And you want to know why? Because I said so. And that's going to be good enough because that's the kind of level of authority this person apparently has over her son's life. And that's not something that you should try to fix, should try to be a part of it because it's just causing you too much turmoil, not the a-hole. Somebody says, the second you started the document, it was very likely over. Its only purpose was to convince yourself, and that's a great point. Having so much after only a month is a very, very convincing, damning fact. I've seen this happen once, but it was a friend of mine and her in-laws, Eastern European. And the mother-in-law, my friend called her Mason, always chipping away with a hammer and chisel. She felt her self-worth circling the drain after a few years. When it came time to talk about kids, she decided that she was going to have a reversible procedure that would allow her not to have kids, just for the time being, because she didn't want any kid to grow up in a home like that. She didn't do it, though. It was very risky, but it started a dialogue between them and their husband. Happy to say, after they got a job offer in a different country and they moved to start anew, they actually had 2 babies and they're still married to this day. Parents kept at arm's length, never advertised spare rooms for visit, keep things cool. Sad they had to do it, but I'm in belief that the nucleus of a family is the marriage, not the in-laws. Which is a really, really nice point, right? It's showing that the pressures that you grew up with, as somebody who's white, we don't do that. I don't know any white family in my life that's that's actually a lot. My cousins actually totally do that. I would say in our white culture, whatever the hell that is, we don't really typically do that. In fact, we try to get away from our parents, and our parents kick us out at 18, right? Which is not an uncommon thing in a lot of cultures out there. But I can't really feel like I know how to talk on families that stick together, because to me that sounds so nice. But it would only be nice if your family is loving, caring, and nurturing, because that allows everybody to grow. That allows you to have a little nest egg, because you're not worrying about how much the rent is and how much all the stuff is, because it's a family home. You have support, family meals, all this other stuff, and all of that does sound really nice if it's a supporting, loving family. If it's one that's kind of like a dictatorship where one person's word goes, nobody else is allowed to say anything, that's not conducive for a family to grow and foster and be a good, healthy. And that wouldn't be good for a healthy upbringing for their kids either, if they even wanted to. But at this point, if he's never willing to stand up for you, then he's not the one for you. You have more than enough time, I'm hoping, to go out there and find somebody that you're going to love and that's going to love you and not treat you secondhand to their mother. I love my mom. Single mother raised me. A lot of us know how that is. I love her. But as soon as my wife came into the picture, the most important woman in my life became very obvious, right? The person who's hopefully going to have my kids someday, the person I choose to spend all my days with, the person I chose to marry, kind of above the person that telling me what to do, right? What do you think?